i's and cross your
Put the
t's.
sign in.
Sounds good.
Oh,
Please.
enter and sign in, please.
There's an agenda and- What's the official time again?
5:04 right now.
Okay, we,
This is just one?
One of each.
it's 2 pages and there's this one.
Midnight oil.
First order will be, if you can scan the minutes and we'll get started. If you can slide in a little bit there in the middle, we'll be on camera. Right there we can be with it.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting.
Okay. And,
I'll second it.
okay. Okay, well, we can start off with you, Dale.
All right. So Dale is currently administering 2 projects on behalf of the commission, the first being the runway project. No update at this time. They're still anticipating an early August commencement. They have been coordinating with their subs and getting shop drawings pulled together. I had assumed I'd received some of the shops already, but the electrical lead items, or the long lead items, the electrical stuff, but haven't received them yet. I was told by Rainmaker that I'd receive them in the next week or 2. So the sooner we get those, the better, because they can get everything ordered. Otherwise, we're still waiting on the financial forms from Mass DOT. Thank you, Isabel, for going around and getting all those signatures today. So nothing really of note to report.
Is our box still on time? That's
As
cement,
far as-
that's cement.
The
I have a
precast
question,
vault.
where is the new electrical going? Where is it gonna be located?
The electrical vault will be located inside the perimeter fence, adjacent to those 2 parking spaces right there.
Okay,
And then you'll have a trench with conduits running out across the runway, and then the circuit will run around and come back to that home run. So under actions requested of the commission, this was a holdover from last month. As far as I know, the city should have received payment on the first reimbursement request, which accounts for 92.5% of the fees to date. Again, we're still waiting on the Mass DOT 7.5%, but at last month's meeting, I had requested that payment be issued to Gale in the amount of $334,679.74 upon receipt of those funds. Is that something we can check in on?
I can check.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how that works, but I can check.
Our surveyor and geotechnical engineer, as well as our electrical engineer, who've all, done their work, are screaming at me to get paid. So it'd be nice to get those guys paid.
Okay.
Is there a fee for being late?
There is not. We write into our sub-consultant agreements that they get paid when we get paid. So
Okay.
if we go longer than 30 days from receipt of your payment, then yes, but that's on us.
Okay.
Okay, I'll check.
Any other questions on the runway?
We still on for July or June?
Early August. is the
Early August,
anticipated
yeah.
start date, yep.
Okay.
The second project is the master plan update. City Council voted to appropriate the local share of funding for the project. Mass DOT and FAA grant applications were executed by Mayor Nicholson in the airport and subsequently submitted for the project on March 29th. It is important to note that because it's a planning project, grant funds must be issued prior to the start of work. So at this time, we're sort of standing by until those grant funds are issued, and then we can begin work on that master plan update. So actions requested of the commission, none at this time.
Okay.
quick and easy.
And then at that point, we can work, once the master plan's going, we can work on designating time or money into either replacing or rebuilding this place.
Right, yeah, that is something that they'll evaluate in depth as part of the master plan. At the end, we'll, I guess, propose a preferred alternative and ask for your concurrence, then that will be the plan moving forward.
Awesome. Great work.
It's not me, it's the planners.
Well, yeah.
But thank you, I'll relay the message.
One of the cogs in the wheel, as we all are.
And that's it for me.
Okay, very good. I'm looking for some people who wanna volunteer to come and shut the alarm off if I'm not around. I'm gonna be away in 2 weeks, but other than that, we haven't had any alarms go off.
Am I still on that list?
I don't know who's on the list other than me and Kenny,
Well,
originally.
The last time you took off, I was supposed to be added onto the list.
Yeah, I gotta check with them. And you travel a lot, so.
Yeah, I do.
So I wanna have a couple of people that might be able to come down and shut the alarm off.
Yep.
I believe I'm still on the list because I got a call a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when, Dave forgot to shut it off when he came in.
So you can take me off the list if you want. I don't have a key to get in anymore either, so.
Well, the key's gonna be in the, I haven't put it in there, I put it in the Knox box. And they'll be standing inside waiting, but
Okay.
it's, that's the plan right now. And I wanted to put the names on the list so that when I put the list in there with it, cause it's gonna tell them how to do everything that we need, cause it's gonna have a key to this door, a key to the gates, key to, or the code for the gate, the electric gate, and then the key to the electrical room here, so they can get at the panel. And I think that was gonna be it in there, along with the directions and explaining just that the electrical gate needs the code, and you can shut the switch off to keep the gate open.
Your call list is going to Greenwood?
Huh?
Your call list is going to Greenwood?
Yeah, well, eventually, that's why I wanted to get that finalized this time,
Yeah.
so that I was doing it. So, do you want me to take you off, or do you wanna just sit there for a bit?
If somebody that lives closer can respond, it's
Yeah,
probably better.
you know, just, you guys, I don't know, it all depends, it's mostly, well,
Well, you're allowed 3 names, right?
I don't know what they
You're
allow.
allowed 3 people.
Oh, okay. And I can put them in an order that will, you know,
Yeah,
usually it's
order.
me and Kenny, and then Kenny I took off and I replaced him. And then if you're on it, then
I don't care. We,
for now,
nobody's around, I'll come in.
yeah, okay, you'd be last. And then,
Are you on the list, Jim?
I try to stay on the list.
You can walk here faster than I can drive.
yeah, well, I'm 5 minutes farther than you are
I don't
away.
walk very fast anymore.
I'm still trying to gotta figure out how I can't get into the hangar to replace the heats. That's the only thing that's keeping us from doing it, is just getting up into the attic and reaching the heats, because the beams are 10 feet apart and there isn't any way to climb in there. I wanted to go up through the ceiling, but I can't get, the floor
How
space
about
is
that
taken.
man lift they have down at Taylor Rental?
The man lift, yeah, but it has to be on the floor.
Can't get
Yeah,
Dominic
have you
to
looked
move
in
the
there?
planes.
Have you looked in there? You can hardly walk through there,
Yeah.
say nothing
It's
about
a fire
lifting.
hazard.
But
what
and
it
we'd
is.
like the heat, I'd like to have the heat detectors in there because,
I'd like to have more, you know, fire protection.
well, the fire protection is, you know, it's
More
adequate.
fire
If
extinguishers, he
it's-
says he's got 2 in there, but.
Yeah.
Well,
And I keep put
Like,
those.
there should be one in every room.
He says he's got 2.
Yeah,
Right, but
there
we should
is
have
2 in
one
there,
in-
Kenny and I replaced them with it last year.
And there's one,
And we have them all,
Fix
I
that
thought
one
we
over
had,
there.
oh, one down,
I
guest
get
down
them
there.
certified every year.
Yeah.
And they
There
check
should be
them.
one out by the pedestrian door, and there's one over by,
There's one by the pedestrian door, one by the gas pump,
right,
and I think there's another one on the,
there should be one
By
out
the
Dominic's
emergency.
office there.
huh?
Dominic's little office.
Yeah, I think there's one right
there.
there, and there's one by the door, inside, I think it is. And then we got that one, and
It wouldn't hurt to have one in here.
the, some,
They don't last very long.
well, they
I
get
mean, it
certified.
depends on what size you buy.
Hmm.
I know when I did my shop, I have double of what I was recommended to have. Then I figured I was covered.
And how long does it spray for?
I don't know, they're all like that, about that big around.
No, I mean, how many minutes
30
does it
pounders.
spray for?
Yeah, they're all 30 pounders.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever they last. Alls I know is they're double than what I was supposed to have.
they have to be inspected every year.
Yep, every year I go see David.
Yep.
And it's $100.
But, and that's what we did them last year, and then we just bring them to them again. I don't put us, keep us on the list. Okay, well, I just keep working at that here, I gotta, just about, what do you need?
Okay, now that the snow's gone, we are starting spring cleanup. We've got a lot of spots where the snow plow pushed the sod, but we're gonna fix all those. We've got a couple divots and holes that we need some sod put in, some fill, and so we're gonna do that. I noticed some sand over by the gate, you know, just a lot of little things to clean it up. It's just,
That was actually.
that was from the,
Was from the rubber food,
oh, yeah,
outside the gate,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
and just use it to stop from tracking it everywhere
right, so,
and,
you know, we're gonna start doing that. We've been replacing the runway lights and the taxiway lights. The safety issues we're doing first. The runway lights have all been replaced, and they are all working.
well, the one I have.
The runway lights, the
I
taxiway
got one
lights.
runway light.
Oh, I didn't know, I
That
thought
was
they
the
were
one I
all,
put together.
oh, I thought they were
I
all
didn't have a bulb.
together, okay. And then the taxiway lights, a lot of them were out, many were out. We replaced as many as we could, and we ran out of replacement bulbs. And the ones that still don't turn on, Jim has been trying to fix. And I ordered new bulbs, they're large bulbs and they're also small ones. And so we're working on that, but you know, that's a safety issue if anybody comes in here
Yep.
at night, they can't see. So, you know, the runway lights were the most important ones and those are done.
Any word from the FAA about our beacons?
No, I haven't heard it, no, I haven't done anything with them, because I didn't feel like trudging through.
No, well, I went up to
Snow.
Cottage Lane last week, or this week, and it's all grown up with brush.
Right, but we were waiting to hear if they were gonna allow them to remove them, or they were going to fix them.
Nothing.
Nothing
So
still?
they're not gonna
We're-
fix them, we are responsible for
The,
fixing them.
yes, although they're 220, I believe, and it says only a professional should be replacing the bulbs. You know, and we can't climb up there, that's a safety problem.
I think the design life on those beacons was 10 years. After 10 years, they're eligible for replacement.
Don't know when
I think those were done somewhere around 2010.
So they're due.
It was right as I started it, Gail.
I want to, my goal was I tested at the box and there's power to the cottage lane.
Is
And
Cottage Lane the one that Mr. Kozlowski said?
that one had power, but it wasn't working.
There is no power lines left to go to it anymore.
And the one at Wilson's is the one I wanna walk. And I've been waiting for a good day for a nice sunny walk. We'll talk to Miss Wilson and we'll find it and then walk the line on it, because I got a feeling it may be all line down. But I wanna, that would be helpful.
If it's a wooded area, yeah, it's not,
Oh, it's
it's not uncommon for a branch to break in the winter.
Yeah. And I think it's probably got the same problem that Cottage Lane has, and that the pen that's around it with the security fence is probably full of mush.
It is,
To the
it
point where you
is.
can't walk.
And is that a liability for the airport? Because that's an obstruction light sitting up on top of the hill. What happens if the plane flies into that and the light is out? Are we liable? I mean, is this something we need to do right away?
Well, I'm not an attorney, so I can't make a decision on liability, but those were put up to mark vegetative obstructions, trees. And in the past couple of years, the FAA has sort of gotten sick of funding lights that cover vegetative obstructions, so their new policy has been, if it's a building, you light it; if it's a tree, you cut it; if it's the ground, you move. So, whether or not FAA is amenable to removing them is as simple as just filing a 7416 airspace study. And then they'll come back and say, yes, this is a hazard to navigable airspace, please put a light up, or it's a hazard, but because they're vegetative obstructions, there's no need for a light, just program a treatment project at some point in the future. So I think that is something worth doing. It only takes about an hour to file the case, and then 45 days for their review determination.
Because when I talked to him, it was something along that line that they were talking about doing, but I never heard anything back.
We can probably assist with that.
Yeah, I just wanted to, you know, I wanted to see if it was obvious. I mean, Robert has been on the third one, which is the Kozlowski's property, and that's just, he's ripped them all down.
So if we are forced to still have them, can we get them solar powered?
The FAA, or the AIP program, has not approved solar lights for funding yet. There are FAA-approved solar lights, they're just not eligible for reimbursement under AIP at this time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's still moving forward.
Okay, at least we know
Which
more.
is basically where we're at.
Yeah, at least we know
All
more. Okay, we'll be getting back to cutting down those birch trees at the end of the taxiway. Cut down some of them, and then it snowed, so we'll be getting back to that. You probably noticed the fuel price was lowered. We did that we want to bring people in, so please spread the word. We'd like people to fly in, get fuel, come in, use the restroom, have a cup of coffee.
We're
And,
not quite there yet on the restaurant and using the coffee.
I've got a little front on the bathroom yet. But we'll talk about that under new business.
What was I gonna say?
What's the first thing they do when they get out of the airplane? Where's
first
the
to the
bathroom?
Yeah.
If they come any distance,
Oh,
just saying.
we got the load of fuel on Monday. Tuesday, FlightAware called and says, what's your price of fuel? So it changed the next day, so on FlightAware. So I think we're at the 610, we looked at what's everybody around us, and I thought that might be a good price.
I think it is a good price.
What is the price?
610.
610. We could actually go a tiny bit lower too.
But I was checking out some places down in West Virginia. There's a couple of places down there that are 547. But that's down there. Up here, it's
What's Fitchburg?
everybody's 656 last I know, and 625 over in Orange. I don't know what Jaffrey had prices going from 610, 650, and 690. So,
My last trip out to Chicago last week, diesel fuel was down to $3.40 a gallon.
Wow.
I guarantee you I topped off my tank.
yeah,
It was the
That's
lowest
really
I've
low.
seen in a long time.
yeah, but it's going back up now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay, so moving on, we did find 3 volunteers to help with any kind of project around the airport. One of the retired city council women and her husband would like to help. And also, a man, Glenn from Templeton, he'd like to help too, so there's 3 people. The guard software is operational again. That was just, operator technique. We've got, somebody changed the computer and changed 22.8 on the scanner, so I fixed it, it's working again.
awesome.
I'd like to remove the block out of the 1 ton so it could be used during the season for,
Yep, I'm
it's
working on
kind
that.
of, it's not really helpful with the cement block in there. I'd like to remove it so we can use it for other things.
We can pick that up with the loader, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and, that's pretty much it.
Okay. We've been able to successfully get rid of, she has cleaned out just about everything that's junk.
Well, there's more to
There's a
go.
lot to go, there's
I
more to
wanna
go.
thank you for what you've done so far. It's a
Done
huge
wonderful.
improvement.
I'm not getting rid of anything historical or old or anything that's meaningful or valuable to people. I'm just getting rid of the generic
Junk.
junk.
Correct.
Like those pictures didn't mean anything to anyone. And like I was mentioning, if anyone has pictures of the airport or pictures of yourself in an airplane here on the field, I'll have them blown up and we'll put those up. And they'll mean something to everyone.
Yep.
Afterwards.
I'll check at our office. When we complete projects that modify the airfield, we usually take aerial photos. So I might have some big 40 by 40.
Oh, nice.
That'd be nice.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
I'll double check.
And I don't know if I mentioned, the test came back for the floor, it is asbestos. The glue or pad underneath is not asbestos, just the top part. And it's cracking and it looks bad. And now that I would like to have the public pilots come in and use the facility, I'd like to leave the door unlocked during the day, shut the alarm off during the day, and have people come in. It's a public space. And so, I would like to have the floor
Correct. So
It's not, this type of tile, it's called chrysotile or chrysotile, something like that. It's hard, and it doesn't go fibrous, but still, it's cracking and it looks terrible.
So we still, but do we need an asbestos team to remove it, or can it be
Yes.
removed
No,
privately?
no, Massachusetts says it must be removed by the
Right,
people
so
in the suits and everything.
Do we have prices of what it would cost to have that?
We're working on that. And, I think it's the right thing to do, just have it done.
100% behind you.
And the mayor said it was okay, so,
Perfect.
yeah. And it'll look a lot nicer, we'll spruce it up a bit, maybe paint the walls, and it'll look 100% better.
Yep.
What if you did like a floating floor on top of it, that way you don't have to remove it?
You could, yeah.
We're gonna be getting into, I don't know how much or what we're in, I mean, 1 bathroom's fine if we can get rid of it, that needs some plumbing problems fixed, but.
Yeah, I don't want the city to have liability for the public streaming through here and saying, oh, it's asbestos, So why not just take away the liability and just let people use it. Oh, and
We gotta get some pricing and figure out about whether this addition has to go, and then the entryway. has to be reflashed and
Replace,
fixed.
those sills are rotten around the window there.
Yeah. and there's
Water's
a lot of
probably
little
dripping
things.
on, yeah,
There's a whole host of little things that we gotta just look at.
Right,
Yeah.
but these are all what we're working on with the master plan about how to fix it even more.
That'll be part of it, but whether this gets fixed or replaced or something,
Do some repairs.
some repairs.
something that's, to get it operational.
Yeah, not outrageously expensive, but, let's fix it up a little bit. Okay, so, I'm also thinking of some fly-ins for this summer, well, Jim and I were talking about it. If any of you guys have friends that would like to fly in and, sit at picnic tables and enjoy the weather or whatnot, the airport could provide, a small amount of refreshments for your small fly-in. Within reason, not like 100 people, but, a handful of people want to fly in. We can provide some refreshments. We might be getting a gas grill that we could use for hamburgers and hot dogs. And we could, purchase some soft drinks and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to do some fly-ins, let's do it. Because, in August it's gonna close, so we may as well.
Have we heard anything more about the RC plan clubs all coming here?
I tried to call him and I sent him an email. He might be talking to Robert.
No, he's Robert.
I mean,
Not Robert.
oh, hi Robert.
They have not talked to me since the meeting.
Oh, I called him and I emailed him and nothing.
All right.
So
Hopefully we'll hear something shortly.
I gave the paperwork out.
Yeah, she gave the paperwork back to me, but I think that, they notoriously, they find things kind of at the last minute.
All right.
Which is not bad, but they're kind of, they take a look at the 30-day forecast before they say they're gonna.
Yeah, we may
So-
need a little more
But,
time than that. And we can't provide professionals for all them, but, small groups.
That's what
We've already realized that.
they're pretty much self-contained.
Yeah.
I do think that it might be wise to see if we can work out a deal where we get some of the parking or something that'll help cover the freight some of the,
We should get a small
Costs.
percentage, it shouldn't be free. We should try to make a little bit of money,
if we can.
if we can. And I do have a concern about them using the runway when the airport is open. What if they're flying around and a piece falls off of one of their little,
Oh, they clean them up
They,
real quick, believe me.
they're all,
and somebody's on final? Yep,
these groups are well aware of all the rules and regulations that are needed
Right.
to do this. So any pieces or any destruction or a plane that crashes or whatever, they're there to pick it all up. Okay,
okay.
and they're very well aware of their spotters, in case somebody needs to be emergency landing, that they have rules and regulations on how we clear the airspace for an emergency for that to happen.
Okay, and did they notice if something falls off?
Shotguns.
And they would see it and they'd run out and take it off? Okay, I just don't want
That's
anything
a
on the runway
Well,
that go into somebody's engine.
I realize that, but we also need to work with them about trying to bring people in here and try to
It's-
utilize our space as much as possible.
I've been through, how many times? I've been 3 or 4 times in the last, prior to 19. We never had a problem, and the airport was open.
Okay.
So it's something where they've done with many other airports
The air boss
as
is
well as
the
us.
guy that handles all of it.
Okay,
And
Never mind,
very, they've been good, very
Yeah.
good.
and they also bring their own insurance and everything else. Okay,
Yeah.
so all that is well covered.
And the reason they need the runway is because if they're flying the jets and stuff like that, they don't like dirt.
fire extinguishers and all that.
Oh,
Everything
Safety,
they have,
Everything's
first aid, all that
It's
stuff.
insane.
Okay, no worries.
So after you've been through a few, you'll be like, yeah, we're all set.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Are we on a new business?
Yes.
I'd like to bring up, next meeting in May, we have Jessica from Gardner, what do you call it? business action or to bring in business into Gardner, as well as maybe Trevor, your guy may come down. I would like to show them, and the city council, maybe what we should do is, if we're gonna have a barbecue or something, is to bring the city council here, the whole council here, have a meeting, so we could show them exactly what goes on here at the airport and how hard that we are working to make this a better place. One of the things I was gonna ask you for, Ms. Isabel, is the report of how many planes land per week, per month, so that we can submit that to the city council and say, hey, this is how much activity that goes on here, how many commercial flights. So I told them about the helicopter being here, and they're like, really? They use the air? I'm like, yeah. So a lot of what it is information or misinformation that they don't have.
They don't know.
And we need to educate them of really what goes on here, so they can have the correct response about what goes on here.
It's a good
I
idea.
don't know if you'll ever get the council to come, because their business goes rapid fire, and a lot of them are still, I don't know if they're still virtual or
How
not,
many are
but
there?
they're,
How many?
a lot of, and, but I know the, Public Welfare Committee, they are meeting at different venues around town. I attended their meeting at the golf course.
Yeah.
And, suggested that they come this way.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't
And
hurt
that was where it would start,
to make them a formal
but,
invitation, and, you know, maybe if you say we
Well,
have a budget to do
I'm
something.
looking at something like a dedication of the runway at the end,
Yeah,
and things like that, where we might be able to say, this is what this money went and did. I attended the one in Jaffrey, and there was probably about 25 to 30 people at it, and it was good. It was really promotional, did a good job.
well, this is something we can work up to, but Jessica and Travis said they would be interested in coming and seeing what we do here. She would like to Jessica was talking about promoting the airport and how we can do it. So needless to say, we gotta educate her about what goes on here. We can educate her about, you know, mentioning about our fuel prices that we have, the conveniences that we have here at this airport, and working with her and the other committees, can also try to bring in some other business into Gardner.
Yeah.
So that's what I done the other week. Because they all showed up at my shop to see what we do, what I do at my shop. And they were all there as a captive audience, so it was like, hit them while you got 'em.
Right. Well, okay.
So if you could make a report about what comes in and goes out.
Yeah, the guard system was down.
Been down for quite a
But
while.
Dakota, and he doesn't get all of them, but he's saying about, right now, which with the bad weather is 4 or 5 per day.
Yeah.
But those are only the ones that he sees midfield. He doesn't see if there's things on either end.
Right,
But right now, 4 or 5 per day.
right, but if we could get a
Guard
report.
system's back up, we'll try to get something.
Right.
Mass Aeronautics wants some.
So if we could get, you know, something saying from the, you know, the Gardner Airport Commission, this is what we have for planes coming in week or by the month. You know,
It's
that,
seasonal too, you know, we've had
Right.
not good weather in the last couple of months, so.
but it
many
would give them,
people-
you know, something to say that, you know, it is being used and how it's being used. That would help.
Just as a sidelight, when do they do the inspection? Do they do that annually? Or are they gonna
What inspection?
max
Is it
their
50-10?
Huh?
I think they try to get out to every airport once a year.
Haven't heard anything.
So it's not necessarily spring, it's just whenever, whatever they call it.
I think when the conditions are the most convenient for them to do their inspections.
Okay, so I'm trying to get all the safety type issues.
That's where we talked about the light being out, and that's where they were gonna suggest a version of it, and that's where it was.
I don't know if you guys have talked to Drew and Haley, Yeah, he works for Mass DOT, he's in the drone program, but he's also the 5010 inspector for the airports, so it would likely be him coming out.
Was he the one that came out with the drone and did our
Must have
aerial
been.
observation?
Must have been.
Okay, then I have that. I didn't realize, didn't remember. Okay. Anything else? No. Where we
Lions,
can,
lions, lions.
right. And, we can work on that. Question on maintenance on the vehicles. Once a year on the oil changes, or you do?
Yeah, that's what we always do once a year. I kept the hours.
Right, I haven't done anything with them other than what Dave Burkhardt did.
You know, the big truck.
And we gotta log that where I get work.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if you were gonna,
I marked down all oil changes, grease, tire, whatever.
anything, yeah. I am working on the inspections. I wanna work on that. I've talked to him, DJ said if we just get him over there, I'll drop it off. He says if you get it right back and bring another one up, they'll take a look at it.
I wanna take the 1 ton to the dump. It's only a couple miles.
Yeah.
But I'm never, it's not registered.
It's registered, but
Yeah.
it's just not,
We had it inspected, I think we had it inspected about 3 years ago.
right,
Before that, it wasn't inspected for about
I know.
10 years.
I know, but it's just the way everybody sees everything nowadays, it's proven.
Are you gonna have the big truck inspected too? 'Cause that usually doesn't go in there, other than the airport.
It hasn't, we did take it over once and fill it up, if we had it, but, yeah, you know, I mean, I anticipate that one would be the easiest of them all. But I know I got a mirror to replace on the loader, and I'm not sure what lights are working or aren't working. We'll get to it. It's the thing that I wanted to do in the wall, I wanted to check over. So,
If you wanna do that before 9 AM in the morning, I'm up for that.
yeah, that's just when I'm getting started. But yeah, I gotta check with them, and usually anywhere in the mid-month, but I told them I'd get it out to them sometime.
They open stickers at 8 AM, so.
But, we'll go from there. Okay, just trying to think, I can't think of anything else that we were. Okay, we can adjourn the meeting,
Make a motion
Okay.
to join the meeting?
I'll second it.
okay. What time?
You get 5:40.
Okay.
How's the shoulder?
Getting there.
Getting there?
Yep.